Here's something that might shock you. Every single day, over 15,000 people over the age of 65 are hospitalized in the United States alone because of exercise-related injuries. That's not a typo. 15,000 people. Every day. Now, before you think I'm here to tell you to stop exercising, let me be very clear. That's not what this is about. Exercise is absolutely essential as we age. But here's the problem. Many of us are doing the wrong exercises. Exercises that doctors and physical therapists have been recommending for decades. Exercises that seem harmless. Exercises that everyone else is doing at the gym. But these exercises are silently destroying your joints, wearing down your cartilage, and setting you up for chronic pain that could last the rest of your life. In Japan, the average life expectancy is 84 years, and what's even more remarkable is that Japanese seniors remain active and independent well into their 80s and 90s. Meanwhile, in Western countries, we're seeing people in their 60s and 70s struggling with knee replacements, hip surgeries, and chronic joint pain that limits their independence. What's the difference? It's not just genetics. It's not just diet. It's something much more fundamental. It's about understanding which movements protect your joints and which ones are slowly breaking them down. Today, I'm going to share with you 7 common exercises that you need to stop doing immediately if you're over 60. And more importantly, I'm going to show you what to do instead. These aren't my opinions. These are based on research from institutions like Harvard Medical School, Stanford University, and the Mayo Clinic. So if you're watching this and you're over 60, or if you're watching this for a parent or grandparent you care about, stay with me. Because what I'm about to share could be the difference between staying active and independent for decades to come, or struggling with pain and limitations that steal your quality of life. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking. Another video telling me what not to do. But here's what makes this different. I'm not just going to tell you what to avoid. For every exercise I tell you to stop, I'm going to give you a better, safer alternative that actually protects your joints while making you stronger. The secret that keeps seniors in places like Okinawa, Japan, and certain regions of Italy active well into their 90s isn't complicated. It's not about expensive supplements. It's not about having perfect genetics. It's about moving your body in ways that work with your joints, not against them. You see, after 60, everything changes. Your cartilage isn't as thick as it used to be. Your tendons and ligaments have less elasticity. Your bones are more fragile. But here's the good news. When you move correctly, your body has an incredible ability to adapt, strengthen, and even heal. The countdown I'm about to share with you comes from decades of research in sports medicine, gerontology, and physical therapy. Each exercise I'm going to warn you about has been linked to increased injury rates, joint degeneration, and chronic pain in people over 60. But remember, knowledge is only powerful when you take action. So as we go through these 7 exercises, I want you to think about which ones you've been doing. And more importantly, I want you to commit to making the changes that will protect your body for years to come. Let's start with number 7. Deep squats below parallel. Now, I can already hear some of you saying, but squats are supposed to be good for you. And you're right. Squats are excellent. But here's what changes after 60. When you squat deeply, especially going below parallel where your hips drop below your knees, you're putting tremendous compression force on your knee joints. A study from the University of Southern California found that deep squats can place up to 8 times your body weight of force on your knee cartilage. Think about that. If you weigh 150 pounds, that's 1,200 pounds of pressure grinding into your knee joints with every deep squat. For younger people with healthy, thick cartilage, this might be manageable. But after 60, your cartilage is thinner. It doesn't regenerate the way it used to. Every time you grind it down with excessive compression, you're setting yourself up for arthritis, chronic pain, and potentially knee replacement surgery down the road. Researchers at Harvard Medical School published findings showing that seniors who regularly performed deep squats had a 43% higher rate of knee pain and osteoarthritis compared to those who did modified squats. So what should you do instead? Partial squats. Also called quarter squats or half squats. You still get all the benefits of strengthening your quadriceps, glutes, and core, but you stop the movement before your knees go past your toes, and definitely before your hips drop below your knees. Here's how to do it safely. Stand with your feet shoulder-width apart. Imagine you're sitting back into a chair that's slightly behind you. Lower down only until your thighs are roughly parallel to the ground or even less. Keep your chest up. Keep your weight in your heels. Then push back up. You can do this holding onto a countertop or sturdy chair for balance if you need to. There's no shame in that. In fact, that's smart. You're being intelligent about protecting your joints while still building strength. The key is this. You want resistance. You want to challenge your muscles. But you don't need to destroy your joints to get stronger. Partial squats give you everything you need without the risk. And here's something beautiful about this modification. You can actually do more repetitions because you're not taxing your joints as much. That means more muscle activation, more calorie burn, and better functional strength for everyday activities like getting out of a chair or climbing stairs. So number 7. Stop doing deep squats below parallel. Start doing partial squats instead. Your knees will thank you 20 years from now. Number 6. Running or jogging on hard surfaces. I know this one might be controversial. Running has been promoted for decades as one of the best cardiovascular exercises. And for many people it is. But after 60, the impact forces from running can be devastating to your joints. Every time your foot strikes the pavement, your joints absorb 2 to 3 times your body weight in impact force. That's with every single step. If you're running for 30 minutes, that's thousands of impacts. Thousands of shock waves traveling up through your ankles, knees, and hips. A landmark study from Stanford University followed runners over the age of 50 for 21 years. What they found was eye-opening. Runners had significantly higher rates of hip and knee osteoarthritis compared to walkers. The key difference? Impact force. Now I want to be clear. I'm not telling you to stop all cardiovascular exercise. That would be terrible advice. Your heart needs exercise. Your lungs need exercise. Your entire cardiovascular system depends on regular aerobic activity. But there are smarter ways to get your cardio without pounding your joints into dust. The best alternatives? Swimming, water aerobics, cycling, and elliptical training. These are what we call low-impact or no-impact exercises. They elevate your heart rate, they burn calories, they strengthen your cardiovascular system, but they do it without the destructive impact forces. Let's talk about swimming for a moment. In the water, your body weight is reduced by about 90%. That means your joints are essentially floating. You can move freely, build strength, improve flexibility, and get an incredible cardiovascular workout, all while your joints are protected. Researchers at Kyoto University in Japan studied elderly swimmers versus elderly runners. The swimmers had significantly better joint health, better flexibility, and reported less chronic pain. But here's what's interesting. Both groups had similar cardiovascular health benefits. That means you can get all the heart-healthy benefits without destroying your joints. If you don't have access to a pool, consider cycling. Whether it's a stationary bike at home or a regular bicycle, cycling gives you that cardiovascular challenge while your joints are supported. The circular motion is smooth. There's no impact. And you can adjust the resistance to match your fitness level. Another excellent option is the elliptical machine. If you have access to a gym or if you can invest in one for your home, the elliptical gives you a running-like motion without the impact. Your feet never leave the pedals, which means your joints are protected. And here's something important. If you absolutely love running and you can't imagine giving it up, at least make these modifications. Run on softer surfaces like tracks, trails, or grass instead of concrete. Invest in high-quality running shoes with excellent cushioning. And most importantly, reduce your frequency and distance. Instead of running 5 days a week, maybe run twice a week and substitute the other days with low-impact alternatives. But honestly, if you're experiencing any joint pain, any stiffness, any swelling after running, your body is sending you a message. Listen to it. There's no metal for toughing it out and ending up with a knee replacement. So number 6. Stop running or jogging on hard surfaces, especially if you're doing it multiple times per week. Switch to low-impact alternatives that protect your joints while keeping your heart strong. Before we continue, I want to hear from you. How many of these exercises have you been doing? Are you surprised by any of these so far? Go ahead and leave a comment right now. Tell me which exercise you've been doing and whether you're willing to make the change. And while you're at it, tell me your age and where you're watching from. I love hearing from viewers all around the world. Also, if you're finding this information valuable, do me a favor. Click that like button. It helps more people discover this video. Because here's the thing. There are millions of people over 60 doing these exercises every single day, not knowing they're setting themselves up for injury. By sharing this video, you could literally save someone from years of chronic pain. Alright, let's continue with number 5. Number 5. Leg extensions on machines. This is one of the most common exercises you'll see people doing at the gym. You sit in a machine, place your legs under a padded bar, and extend your legs straight out in front of you. It seems safe, right? You're sitting down. You're supported. The machine guides your movement. But here's the problem. This exercise creates something called shearing force on your knee joint. Instead of compressing the joint like a squat, it's actually pulling the joint apart in an unnatural way. The Mayo Clinic has published research showing that leg extension machines place excessive stress on the anterior cruciate ligament, also known as the ACL, and they create abnormal tracking patterns in the kneecap. Over time, this leads to patellofemoral pain syndrome, which is a fancy term for chronic pain around your kneecap. Think about how you move in real life. Do you ever sit down and kick your leg straight out with resistance? No. That's not a natural movement pattern. Real-world activities like walking, climbing stairs, standing up from a chair, they all involve compound movements where your hip, knee, and ankle work together. The leg extension isolates the knee in an unnatural way. And for people over 60 with already compromised cartilage and ligaments, it's a recipe for disaster. A study from the American College of Sports Medicine found that 46% of people over 60 who regularly used leg extension machines reported knee pain, compared to only 19% of those who did functional leg exercises instead. So what should you do? Step-ups. This is one of the most functional exercises you can do for your legs. It mimics real-world movements. It strengthens your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and even your core, all while keeping your knee in a natural, safe position. Here's how to do it. Find a step or platform that's about 6 to 8 inches high. You can use the bottom step of a staircase in your home. Stand in front of it. Place one foot completely on the step. Push through that heel and step up, bringing your other foot to meet it. Then step back down with control. Start with just your body weight. As you get stronger, you can hold light dumbbells at your sides, or you can progress to a higher step. The beauty of this exercise is that it's infinitely scalable. You control the difficulty by adjusting the height and the weight you're holding. And here's what's powerful about step-ups. They're unilateral, which means you're working one leg at a time. This helps correct muscle imbalances. Many of us have one leg that's stronger than the other, and bilateral exercises like leg presses can allow the stronger leg to compensate. With step-ups, each leg has to do its own work. Another excellent alternative is the sit-to-stand exercise. You know what this is because you do it dozens of times every day. You sit down in a chair and stand back up. That's it. That's the exercise. But here's how to make it challenging. Start seated in a chair. Cross your arms over your chest so you're not using your hands for help. Stand up using only your leg strength. Pause at the top. Then slowly lower back down with control. This exercise strengthens the exact muscles you need for functional independence. It works your quadriceps, glutes, hamstrings, and core in a coordinated, natural movement pattern. And there's zero abnormal stress on your knee joints. Researchers at the University of Michigan found that seniors who could perform sit-to-stand exercises without using their hands had significantly better mobility, better balance, and lower fall risk compared to those who couldn't. You can make this harder by using a lower chair, by holding a weight at your chest, or by doing it on one leg if you're advanced. But even in its simplest form, it's one of the most valuable exercises you can do. So number 5. Stop using leg extension machines. Start doing step-ups and sit-to-stand exercises instead. These functional movements will make you stronger in the ways that actually matter for your daily life. Number 4. Behind the neck shoulder presses. This exercise is still being taught in some gyms and fitness programs, but it's one of the worst things you can do for your shoulder joints after 60. Here's why. When you bring the barbell or dumbbells behind your head, you're forcing your shoulders into extreme external rotation. This position places tremendous stress on your rotator cuff muscles and your shoulder capsule. Your rotator cuff is made up of 4 small muscles and their tendons that stabilize your shoulder joint. After 60, these tendons have less elasticity. They've experienced decades of wear and tear. They're more prone to tears and inflammation. A study from Johns Hopkins Medical Center found that behind-the-neck presses were associated with a 78% higher rate of rotator cuff injuries compared to standard overhead presses in people over 50. And here's something else. As we age, many of us develop reduced shoulder mobility. Maybe you have some arthritis. Maybe you have some stiffness. When you force your shoulder into that behind-the-neck position, you're asking it to go to the end of its range of motion while under load. That's a perfect recipe for injury. The most common result? Rotator cuff tears, shoulder impingement, and chronic inflammation. These injuries can take months to heal, and in some cases they require surgery. And recovery from shoulder surgery when you're over 60 is not easy. So what's the alternative? Standard overhead presses, also called military presses or shoulder presses. You press the weight up in front of your head, not behind it. Here's how to do it safely. You can use dumbbells, a barbell, or even resistance bands. Start with the weights at shoulder height, roughly in line with your ears. Your elbows are bent and pointing forward, not out to the sides. Press the weights straight up overhead until your arms are extended. Then lower back down with control. This keeps your shoulders in a much safer position. You're still building strength in your deltoids and triceps. You're still creating bone density. but you're not forcing your shoulders into that dangerous extreme position. If you want an even safer alternative, try seated dumbbell presses with your back supported against a bench or chair. This provides stability and prevents you from arching your back excessively, which can lead to lower back problems. Another excellent option is resistance band overhead presses. Bands provide accommodating resistance, which means the resistance increases as you press up. This is actually more joint-friendly than free weights because the hardest part of the movement is at the top where your joints are in their strongest position. You can anchor a resistance band under your feet, hold the handles at shoulder height and press up. The band provides smooth, constant tension without the jarring effect that can happen with weights. Here's an important principle to understand. Your goal is not to prove how tough you are. Your goal is to maintain and build strength while protecting your joints so you can stay active for decades to come. There's nothing tough about destroying your shoulders and ending up unable to lift your arms above your head. Researchers at Stanford University studied shoulder health in elderly populations. What they found was that people who avoided extreme range of motion exercises under load maintained significantly better shoulder function well into their 80s and 90s. So number 4. Stop doing behind-the-neck shoulder presses. Start doing standard overhead presses in front of your body, and consider using resistance bands for an even gentler option on your joints. We're at number 3 now. High-impact aerobics classes and jumping exercises. You might have seen these classes at your gym. High-energy music and instructor calling out moves, everyone jumping and bouncing around. It looks fun. It looks energizing. And for younger people it can be great. But for people over 60, all that jumping and bouncing is absolutely devastating to your joints. Every jump creates impact force. Every landing sends shock waves through your ankles, knees, hips, and even your spine. And unlike running where you at least have forward momentum to dissipate some of the force, with jumping exercises you're often landing in the same spot repeatedly. That's concentrated impact on the same joints over and over. Box jumps, burpees, jump squats, jumping jacks, even some forms of high-intensity interval training that involve jumping. These exercises might make you feel young and energetic in the moment, but the long-term consequences for your joints are severe. A study from the National Institute on Aging found that people over 60 who participated in high-impact exercise classes had triple the rate of stress fractures, joint inflammation, and cartilage damage compared to those who did low-impact alternatives. And here's what's particularly dangerous. These injuries often don't show up immediately. You might feel fine during the class. You might even feel fine the next day. But over weeks and months, the cumulative damage adds up. Suddenly you're dealing with chronic knee pain, hip pain, or a stress fracture that seems to come out of nowhere. Your bones are more fragile after 60. That's just a fact. Bone density decreases with age, especially in women after menopause. What might have been a minor stress on your bones at age 30 can become a fracture at age 65. So what should you do instead? Low-impact aerobics, dance classes without jumping, or better yet, create your own routine at home. You can get your heart rate up without leaving the ground. Marching in place with high knees, side steps, grapevines, arm movements that challenge your cardiovascular system. All of these can be done without impact. There are excellent low-impact aerobic programs specifically designed for seniors. Look for classes labeled as low-impact, senior fitness, or gentle aerobics. These classes understand the biomechanics of aging bodies. They provide the cardiovascular benefits without the joint destruction. Chair aerobics is another fantastic option. Yes, I know some people think chair exercises are only for people who are very frail. But that's completely wrong. Chair aerobics can be incredibly challenging and effective. You're sitting, which means zero impact, but you're moving your arms vigorously, engaging your core and elevating your heart rate. Research from the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity found that seniors who did regular chair aerobics had similar cardiovascular improvements compared to those doing traditional aerobics, but with 94% fewer injuries. Here's another alternative that might surprise you. Dancing. But not the jumping kind. I'm talking about ballroom dancing, line dancing, or even just freestyle dancing in your living room. Dancing is incredible exercise. It challenges your cardiovascular system, improves your balance and coordination, strengthens your muscles, and it's fun. A study from the Albert Einstein College of Medicine found that dancing regularly was associated with a 76% reduced risk of dementia. It's one of the few exercises that challenges your brain and body simultaneously. You're remembering steps, coordinating movements, staying balanced, all while getting your heart rate up. And here's the best part. You can dance at your own pace. You can modify movements to match your ability level. And there's no coach yelling at you to jump higher or move faster. So number 3. Stop doing high-impact aerobics classes and jumping exercises. Your joints cannot handle the repeated impact. Switch to low-impact aerobics, chair exercises, or dancing. You'll get all the cardiovascular benefits without destroying your joints in the process. We're getting close to the top 3 now. But before we continue, I want you to do something for me. Think about someone you know who's over 60 and still doing these dangerous exercises. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a spouse. Maybe it's a parent. Share this video with them. Send them the link. Tell them you care about their health and you want them to see this information. Because knowledge shared is a gift. You could literally prevent someone you love from experiencing years of chronic pain. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, click that subscribe button now. I create videos like this regularly, all focused on helping you live a longer, healthier, more active life. It's completely free and it could be some of the most valuable health information you'll ever receive. Alright, let's get to the final 2 exercises you need to stop doing immediately. Number 2. Sit-ups and full crunches. I know this is going to shock some people. We've been told for decades that sit-ups and crunches are the way to build core strength and get a flat stomach. But here's what they don't tell you. These exercises are terrible for your spine, especially after 60. Every time you do a full sit-up or crunch, you're flexing your spine repeatedly under load. This creates compression on your spinal discs, particularly in your lower back. Your spinal discs are like cushions between your vertebrae. They're made of a tough outer layer and a gel-like center. As you age, these discs naturally lose hydration and become less flexible. They're more prone to herniation and degeneration. Dr. Stuart McGill, one of the world's leading spine biomechanics researchers, has published extensive research showing that repeated spinal flexion under load is one of the primary causes of disc herniation. He specifically recommends that people over 50 avoid sit-ups and full crunches entirely. Think about it this way. How many times in your daily life do you need to curl your torso up toward your knees? Never. It's not a functional movement. What you actually need is the ability to stabilize your spine and resist unwanted movement. That's what true core strength is. A study from Harvard Medical School found that people over 60 who regularly performed sit-ups and crunches had a 41% higher rate of lower back pain and disc problems compared to those who did stabilization exercises instead. So what should you do? Planks, dead bugs, and bird dogs. These are stabilization exercises that build real functional core strength without damaging your spine. Let's start with the plank. This is one of the most effective core exercises ever created. Get into a position like you're about to do a push-up, but rest on your forearms instead of your hands. Your body should form a straight line from your head to your heels. Hold this position. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. I can't hold a plank for very long. That's perfectly fine. Start with 10 seconds. Then rest. Then do another 10 seconds. As you get stronger, work up to 20 seconds, then 30, then more. The beauty of the plank is that it teaches your core to do what it's actually designed to do. Stabilize. Protect your spine. Transfer force between your upper and lower body. These are the functions you need for everyday activities. If a full plank is too challenging, do a modified plank on your knees. You still get tremendous core activation, but it's more accessible. The dead bug exercise is another excellent option. Lie on your back. Raise your arms straight up toward the ceiling. Bend your knees 90 degrees with your shins parallel to the floor. Now, slowly lower your right arm overhead while straightening your left leg, hovering it just above the floor. Return to start. Then switch sides. This exercise challenges your core to stabilize your spine while your limbs are moving. It's harder than it sounds, but it's incredibly effective and completely safe for your spine. The bird dog is similar but done on your hands and knees. You extend one arm forward and the opposite leg back, hold for a moment, then return and switch sides. This builds core stability, improves balance, and strengthens your back muscles, all without any dangerous spinal flexion. Research from the Mayo Clinic shows that stabilization exercises like these are far superior to traditional ab exercises for preventing back pain and building functional core strength. Here's another important point. If you're doing sit-ups or crunches because you want to lose belly fat, I have to tell you something. You cannot spot reduce fat. No amount of ab exercises will burn belly fat specifically. Fat loss happens through a combination of proper nutrition and overall calorie expenditure. The best exercises for burning calories? Full body movements and cardiovascular exercise, not ab isolation. So number 2. Stop doing sit-ups and full crunches. They're damaging your spine and they're not even effective at what most people think they do. Switch to stabilization exercises like planks, dead bugs, and bird dogs. Your spine will stay healthy, and you'll build functional core strength that actually improves your quality of life. And now we're at number 1. The most dangerous exercise you can do after 60. Overhead lat pull-downs behind the neck. This exercise combines all the worst elements we've talked about. Extreme shoulder position. Excessive load on vulnerable joints. And absolutely no functional benefit to justify the risk. When you pull a bar down behind your head, you're forcing your shoulders into that dangerous external rotation we discussed earlier. But it's even worse than the behind-the-neck press because you're pulling against resistance, which creates even more stress on your rotator cuff. You're also forcing your neck forward into an unnatural position to make room for the bar. This places tremendous stress on your cervical spine. Many people have developed chronic neck problems, pinched nerves, and even disc herniations from this one exercise. Johns Hopkins researchers found that behind-the-neck lat pull-downs had the highest injury rate of any common gym exercise for people over 50. The most common injuries? Rotator cuff tears, shoulder impingement, neck strain, and cervical disc problems. And here's the tragic part. There is absolutely no benefit to pulling the bar behind your neck instead of in front. None. You don't get better lat activation. You don't build more muscle. You just get more risk. The latissimus dorsi muscles, your lats, are primarily responsible for pulling your arms down toward your body. Whether you pull to the front or the back, you're working the same muscles. The only difference is the amount of stress you're placing on your shoulder joints and neck. So what's the safe alternative? Front lat pull-downs. Pull the bar down in front of your face to roughly your upper chest level. Here's how to do it correctly. Sit at a lat pull-down machine. Grab the bar with a grip slightly wider than shoulder width. Sit up tall with good posture. Pull the bar down toward your upper chest, keeping your elbows pointed down and slightly back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together at the bottom. Then control the weight back up. This works your lats beautifully. It builds back strength and improves your posture. And it does all of this while keeping your shoulders in a safe, natural position. If you don't have access to a lat pull-down machine, you can use resistance bands. Attach a band to something sturdy above you, like a doorway pull-up bar or a tree branch. Hold the band with both hands and pull down toward your chest. Same movement, same benefits, minimal equipment. Another excellent alternative is the seated row. This exercise also works your back muscles, but the pulling motion is horizontal instead of vertical. You pull toward your body rather than down. This is an even more natural movement pattern for your shoulders. You can do seated rows with cables at the gym, with resistance bands at home, or even with a towel looped around a stable post. The key is maintaining good posture and pulling your shoulder blades together as you row. Research from Stanford University found that people who replaced behind-the-neck exercises with front variations had an 82% reduction in shoulder injuries while maintaining the same strength gains. Here's what I want you to understand. There is no exercise so valuable that it's worth destroying your joints. None. If an exercise causes pain, if it feels wrong, if it puts your body in an awkward or extreme position, there is always a safer alternative. Your goal at this stage of life is not to prove anything to anyone. Your goal is to maintain strength, mobility, and independence so you can enjoy your life. That means being smart, being strategic, choosing exercises that build you up rather than break you down. So number 1. Stop doing overhead lat pull-downs behind the neck. This exercise has the highest injury rate and provides zero additional benefit over the safer alternative. Do front lat pull-downs or seated rows instead. Protect your shoulders and neck so they can serve you for decades to come. So there you have it. 7 exercises that you need to eliminate from your routine if you're over 60, and more importantly, safe and effective alternatives for every single one of them. Let me recap these quickly. Number 7, stop deep squats, do partial squats. Number 6, stop running on hard surfaces, switch to swimming, cycling, or elliptical. Number 5, stop leg extensions, do step-ups and sit to stand. Number 4, stop behind the neck shoulder presses, do standard overhead presses. Number 3, stop high-impact aerobics, do low-impact alternatives or dance. Number 2, stop sit-ups and crunches, do planks and stabilization exercises. And number 1, stop behind the neck lat pull-downs, do front pull-downs or rows. Now, I want you to imagine something. Imagine waking up 5 years from now, 10 years from now, even 20 years from now, and you're still active. You're still independent. You can play with your grandchildren. You can travel. You can do the activities you love. You're not limited by chronic pain. You're not dependent on others for basic activities. That's what this is about. Making smart choices today that protect your future. Because here's the truth. The decisions you make about how you exercise right now will determine your quality of life for the rest of your years on this earth. In Okinawa, Japan, there's a concept called ikigai. It means a reason for being. The Okinawans have one of the highest concentrations of centenarians in the world. People who live to 100 and beyond. And you know what researchers found? These people stayed physically active their entire lives. Not through extreme exercise. Not through punishing workouts. But through consistent, intelligent movement that protected their joints while keeping them strong. You can have that. You can be that person. The person who's still hiking at 75. Still gardening at 80. Still living independently at 85. But it starts with making the right choices now. So here's what I want you to do today. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Look at your exercise routine. Identify any of these 7 dangerous exercises you've been doing. And commit to replacing them with the safer alternatives I've given you. Your body is the only one you get. Treat it with respect. Treat it with intelligence. Give it the movement it needs in ways that protect it rather than destroy it. And remember, you're not alone in this journey. There are millions of people over 60 who are making these same choices. Who are prioritizing longevity over ego. Who understand that true strength is about staying in the game for the long haul. If this video has been helpful to you, show your appreciation by clicking that like button right now. It takes 1 second, and it helps this information reach more people who need to see it. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these exercises you've been doing and which one you're committing to change. I read every single comment, and I love hearing your stories and answering your questions. Share this video with anyone you know who's over 60 and still exercising. Share it with your spouse, your friends, your parents. This information could literally change someone's life. And if you want more content like this, videos that cut through the noise and give you real, science-based information to help you live a longer, healthier life, subscribe to this channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. I've got another video right here about the 5 foods that accelerate aging and the simple swaps that can add years to your life. Click on that next. Your future self will thank you. Remember, it's never too late to make better choices. Your best years can still be ahead of you. Stay strong, stay smart, and I'll see you in the next video.